Peace and blessings, everybody. Good evening. Happy Friday. You are tuning into the Reverend and High Priestess Tama Aziz Serwa, your homegirl who loves to hang out with you. And so, welcome. I'm so glad that so many of you could join us tonight. We're going to talk about the power of accountability with your womb healing process. And this conversation is very important. The hangouts we've been doing are to support our upcoming online 6-week womb healing intensive. This experience is going to be so transformative. I know I say that about everything, but everything we do is really powerful. And so the way the program is set up, I'm not only going to be teaching you about your reproductive health, you're going to learn about how the energy, the design, the functions of your reproductive organs correlate with the lifestyle that you're living. And for those of you who recognize that it's time to take things to the next level, it's time to transform your life, this intensive is going to give you 6 weeks to give that shift your undivided attention. So we're in early enrollment right now. The intensive is going to start in September until July 31st. I think we have, a week left. You'll be able to register for the early bird special. So we wanted to give a financial incentive for you to give yourself your undivided attention for 6 weeks. And what our commitment is, what my charge is as a facilitator of this experience, is to make sure that you feel safe enough and that you are held accountable enough to yourself to manifest your healing. And not just your healing of any physical imbalances, but the healing of all of you as a woman. The world needs you at 100%. And so over those 6 weeks, that's what we'll be doing. We'll be processing where you are in your life. We'll be talking about how you handle things such as your emotions. So over the past couple of hangouts, that's what we've been rapping about, how your womb is your second heart. So if you have not learned the tools on how to process your emotions, yes, that absolutely affects your health. And we are going to talk about how, what kind of tools you need to put into your lifestyle. When I do recommendations, they are so personal, so intimate. So what we've also built into the intensive is one-on-one coaching with me. So you'll have the group experience, but you'll also have the one-on-one coaching so that you get what you need and you can't hide in the group. So this is an experience where you really have to unveil. And these hangouts are laying the foundation for some of the things that we are going to give you tools for. So again, for those of you who want information, you want to see the program overview, and you want to go ahead and take a look at it in detail, go to thewombsauna.com/events/event-registration. Or the shortcut to that is when you go on our website, you'll see the event tab. It has a drop down and you'll click on the register for an upcoming event, and you'll see the listing for the 6-week womb healing intensive. Ooh, get ready, my sisters. Let me tell you, when you look at the registration form, you have to enter into this experience with a powerful intention. So the sisters who've already been signing up have already stated what they're coming. So I want you to know you're not going to be the only one there who is ready to manifest something powerful. And when women come together this way, we literally can transform our communities, our nations, this world. And so the sisters who've been registering, they're sharing, I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to release old stuff. These are the intentions they're putting on their registration form. So check it out, read it, see if it resonates with you. It's not for everybody. It is for those who are ready to unveil. and do what it takes to get to the next level in your life. All right, so it's time for the shift, and the timing of it aligns with the fall harvest energy, which is a time of year where we as women are already looking at what's been going on in the year all along, and whether or not what we desired to happen in 2015 actually manifested. So while the planet is sending that message out through just the season changing, we're going to align with that. It's time to take a look at how you've been living your life and if what you've been doing is working. And if it is working, you should have some evidence. You should have the evidence in your physical body. You should have the evidence in your emotional health. You should be a passion, pleasure-driven woman. You should know who you are and why you're here. If what you're doing in your life is leading you to the fullness, the soul fulfillment that you're seeking, you should have evidence. But if you examine your life and where you are and you realize there's a gap, that's what this intensive is for. For 6 weeks, you're going to be given tools and accountability to close the gap. So anyway, y'all can tell I'm excited because I've been talking about it for a couple minutes. Let's dive right into our conversation about the power of accountability. When people meet me, the energy that I radiate is very powerful. I have a very big aura. And all of my life, my experience has been that people are attracted to the power I walk in. The fact that I'm somebody that is aware that I'm a leader and I am comfortable leading and all of that. When I began to unveil and demonstrate publicly more of who I am, it made some folks uncomfortable. I started this journey when I was going through my divorce years ago. And I remember the shame that I felt because I took pride in being that ideal, quote unquote, couple. I took pride in my love life. And I really did view that union as a ministry in some ways, because our love was and is very deep and strong, even though it is complete in this life. And I remember when I first began to be vocal about the emotions and how I was processing it. And there were days I was not processing it well at all. There were days that I was not able to get out of my bed and even put my feet on the ground. There were days I didn't want to eat. I was losing sleep because I just did not know how to handle that heartache. And instead of hiding within myself, instead of pretending that I had it together when I knew I did not, I made a key decision. And I have been living by that decision ever since. And I decided to be so transparent, so authentic, that no matter who I was talking to, no matter what they asked me, I was telling the truth of where I was in that moment. So I remember there was a time I was in the market, and you know how you're walking past someone and they say to you, "Hey sis, peace, how you doing?" And I remember I said to this brother, "Horrible," and kept pushing my cart. I told the truth right then and there. And I kept it moving. And he came back into the market and he stopped me. He said, "Wait a minute." He said, "I heard you." And he ministered to me. He said, "I don't know what you're going through." He said, "But no matter what it is, you're blessed and you're going to get through it." If I had not unveiled and told the truth, I would not have received that blessing. We are in a day and age where we are seeing women commit suicide. We are seeing powerful women fall off this planet, all because their egos keep them from feeling safe enough to be held accountable, to be able to unveil and be supported. And when we function that way, sisters, we rob ourselves of blessings. This is why we have to have this conversation tonight. We cannot talk about accountability without talking about vulnerability. And I was just saying to one of my clients, and when I work with women, I'm always seeing my reflection in some way. I can always connect to every sister's womb story who comes and works with me in the womb sauna. And one of my clients and good friends that I was servicing today, we were just talking and getting caught up on how things was going since her last session and now going over her regimen and such. And anyway, what I said to her, I said, "Oh, I have to share this on the hangout tonight." I said, "Love, when I choose to share my vulnerability, like I shared publicly today that I was weeping on behalf of my sisters and friends who have to bury certain weights, emotionally." So anyway, I said, some of my friends have said to me, "Tama, you don't ever get concerned about being so transparent and sharing so much that you do on your public platform?" And my response to that is, if you can appreciate my power, you should also be able to appreciate my moments of vulnerability, because I don't achieve power without vulnerability. They go hand in hand. It's the same thing for you. In order to get to the next level in your life, you have to allow the real you to show up. The real you, not the you that puts on so that you can look presentable at your 9 to 5 and get that promotion. Not the you that has to keep it together in front of the kids because you got to be on mommy duty and be moving over here. Not the you that's always in the forefront, being there for everybody else, but not making sure that you're there for yourself. You'll know when you are serious about mastering the art of vulnerability when you create with intention accountability. So what can that process look like? Let me tell you what it looked like for me. When I recognized that I needed help, that I didn't have all the tools that I needed, and I needed support, and that I needed accountability so I wouldn't quit on the process, I made a team. I created a team. And any of my clients on the hangout will tell you, Tama will be on you about having a team for this healing process. You need to know that the universe is not expecting you to know everything and bear the weight of this. No, it's you trying to bear all of the weight that probably has you ill or in imbalance today. So you have to create a team. I knew which friend was good for keeping things light, and I could just call up really quickly and say, "I need to get out the house and have some fun." I knew which friend of mine was the health nut and would be like, "You better not grab that tub of ice cream." I knew which friend was great for spiritual support and prayer. I knew which friend was great for not tolerating my whining and victim consciousness. I knew how to get therapy in place. I built a team. And once I wrote down my list of how I could be supported by the people who really genuinely love and care about me, I contacted them and I unveiled. I said, "Listen, I am going through a difficult transformation right now. I know that this is your strength. Here is my code word. If I call saying SOS, I need you to support me in this way." And every single one of them came through. I have such deep gratitude. I even have friends that came and scrubbed every corner and wall in my house and helped me get things in order after my ex-husband moved out and left things in disarray. I mean, just everything, the things that your team will do for you if you would just create one would amaze you. There is so much love for you. When you deny yourself of accountability, it is because you're refusing to be vulnerable. Something about being vulnerable makes you uncomfortable. Some of us have been taught that being vulnerable makes you weak, that there are certain things you need to hide about the things you're not doing well in. How can you expect to get better if you're only pretending to be better than you really are? There's nothing wrong with owning I'm not there yet, and I need some help and support to get there. And I'm finally ready to summon that, to place that order with the universe so I can get the support and the tools that I need. And so this is why accountability becomes so powerful, because now you are literally entering into a sense of rest. And by that, I mean, you're no longer solely responsible. You don't have to bear this weight. Most of the women I work with who have a hot, heavy womb, abnormal growths, irregularities with their cycles, it's because they're bearing a weight they should not have to bear. It shows up in their shoulders and their neck. They're having chronic back pain, shows up with leg issues. I mean, all of that. You're carrying too much because what do you have to prove? What are you trying to prove by carrying this load the way you are? There is a divine provision for you. There really is. Some of us, we say, well, if I had had a different kind of experience with my mother or my father, then I wouldn't be where I am today. I have seen God in my life, and I know the universe will do it in yours. I have seen Spirit provide a provision. When my fathers didn't know what to do, I've had other fathers show up in my life and pick up where they left off. What my mother has not been able to do, I have other motherly energy in my life. I have my Maya Angelos, as Oprah would say, who come in and fill in the gaps. God and lack cannot exist in the same space. If you feel like so much is missing, something is not in alignment with your divine self. You have convinced yourself that this story about not having it, not being ready, being scared, this narrative you've created for yourself, you're loyal to, even though you know it's not working for you. And we run from accountability when we don't want to do the work. And that's the truth. Because as soon as you start broadcasting to people who genuinely love and care about you, that you are ready to start making some shifts, they're going to bring the accountability. We keep these secrets. We suffer in silence. We pretend we're okay when we're not because of our egos. So I want you to grab some pen and paper. Grab some pen and paper and take a moment. And I want you to write down the answer to this question. Don't make it too deep. Whatever comes to your mind. What do you have to prove? Write that down. When you hear me ask you that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What do you have to prove? Okay. When you decide I'm going to put on, I'm going to smile even though I feel like weeping. I'm going to post positive Facebook statuses even though I'm not feeling positive. Right. I'm going to do all this stuff to try to make myself feel better. Even though the truth is, I probably could use a day of sucking my thumb in the corner and weeping. What is it you're trying to prove, and who are you trying to prove it to? At what point in your life, in your development, did you learn that it is not okay to feel how you feel and be present with that? At what point in your life did you learn that it is not okay to feel how you feel and be present with that? Was it when mom and daddy said, stop all that crying and whining? Was it in school where you was forced to socially adapt faster than you were ready to? Like, what happened to you? If you're not ready to face that, it's going to be very challenging to manifest the next shift in your life. Because I can promise you that what is coming, the harvest that is for you, the blessings that are getting ready to drop, are directly attached to your awareness of who you are and your willingness to be your authentic self. If you are not ready to unveil and tell the truth, how in the world are you going to receive the fullness of what you want? Whether that's a baby, a husband, $1 million, healing in your body. The promise does not come without the process. And accountability is part of the process. Every major shift in your life will have a witness. The witness's role is to reflect to you who you are. We talked about this on another hangout, and you can find all of our hangouts on our YouTube channel, when we talked about sisterhood. Why is sisterhood important? In order for you to really fully understand and embody what it means to be a woman, you need to be around some other women. You need to see the reflection of yourself in others. There are some revelations you will only get about yourself through interactions with other people. There's a lot you can do on your own, but let's be clear, there are some things you need a witness for. And that witness can hold the space and provide support to help you gain that deeper sense of awareness about yourself, as well as say, hey, when they see you not living up to the truth of who you've declared yourself to be, they can say to you, I love you enough to tell you the truth. You said you weren't telling that story anymore, that you were going to replace that story of suffering, victimhood, woe is me, I'm so broken, I don't know what I'm doing. You said you was going to replace that with, I know who I am powerful, I am whole, I am complete. If you try to do all of this journey in this process with only what's in your hands, you'll miss some miracles. So I want you to think about who can be on your team. If you're dealing with an imbalance in your body, if you're dealing with a known imbalance in your spirit or your emotions, okay, what kind of expertise do I need to help me get through this that I know I don't have? First, assess what's in your hands. Because see, here's the catch. Some people try to avoid doing the work by leaning on other people. That's not accountability. That's, I don't want to do the work, I just want you to do it on my behalf. That's not what I'm referring to tonight. First, see what you can work yourself. So for me in my process, I'm very visual. I took a look at what my strongest sense is, and I love to see positive things that helped me when I was being bombarded with negative thoughts, and also love smell. So people who've been in my home, you know, you go in almost every corner, you're going to see either positive arts or affirmations or a vision board. You know, you're going to always smell amazing things burning in my home. Those were tools that I knew I could work. I had the capacity to work. So take a look first at what is it that I know I can do for myself. Share that with your team members. This is my plan. This is what I plan to do and when I plan to do it. Okay. And then look at the expertise that's missing. Well, you know what? I know that I really need to learn, for example, how to talk out what I feel. So if that's the case, then you probably need a therapist, because therapists are trained professionals to support you in talking through whatever is going on in your life. And so that they need to be a part of your team. And I know some people have, you know, their different views about the therapeutic process, but you're powerful enough to hold it intention to attract somebody who shares your values, somebody who is a vibrational match for you. So my therapist actually specializes in the holistic approach of therapy. So I can go in there and talk about spiritual things, energetic things, and principles like Reiki and stuff, and she gets it. She doesn't think I'm crazy when I talk about some of the deep things that happen in my life. Find what you need. Build your team. A lot of women I work with have been diagnosed with something and not addressed it for 6, 7, 10 years. You went to the doctors 6, 7, 10 years ago, was diagnosed with, for example, fibroids, and then you come into the holistic space and can't even tell your practitioner the size of your fibroids, where they are, what type of fibroids you have, and you've been aware of it for 6, 7, 10 years. That's the first indication to me that I'm dealing with someone who is not doing the work. I don't know why we fear information. If you go to an allopathic doctor, go to them for what their strengths are. Now, when they start wanting to write prescriptions and all that stuff, I'm out. But they absolutely have the strength of diagnostic care. And we are a technology advanced civilization that has the ability to do diagnostic work in non-invasive ways. Leverage that. Why not go in every year at a minimum, knowing that your body changes every year, and get a workup so you know what you need to do to move forward. Herbs are medicine too. Your hormonal levels could be different in 2015 than they were in 2011, which may be why no matter how many supplements or herbs you're taking for the past 3, 4 years, you haven't released your fibroids. It's okay to acknowledge that I don't know what I'm doing. And I laugh about it because that was such a freeing moment in my life where I said to myself, I don't know what I'm doing. So I need to call in some experts that can help me and support me in my intention to heal. And that was the last leg of the race for me. And I completely healed in mind, body, and spirit because I became vulnerable and I set up accountability in my healing process. All right. So that's the power of accountability, building that team. Have your holistic expertise there, have your acupuncturist, your massage therapist, have all of that. Have the womb sauna on there. Have your spiritual expertise present. My spiritual father saved my life. Have those tools there. Again, when people don't get the support in place, it's because they don't want to do the work. And that's where I don't care what you say. I get excuses from folks, but people who work with me know Tama is going to hold you accountable. I don't want to hear, oh, I just don't know where to look, or I don't have no friends. You're too powerful for that. If you want the manifestation, if you want the shift, you got to work your mojo. You got to say, you know what? I'm hearing what Tama is saying about getting a team in place. I need to hold that as my intention tonight. When I leave this hangout, I'm going to start looking, start interviewing doctors, start interviewing healthcare professionals, start interviewing people. Be upfront. Don't walk in the doctor's office not telling them why you're there. Tell them, this is who I am. I'm not the patient you can just write prescriptions for. That's not going to work. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. I need to know your expertise, how long you've been doing this. Tell me about your values, your approach to healthcare. Give me the scoop, and let me give you the scoop about me. So everybody on my team is very aware. Even my allopathic doctors, we can sit in there and talk about Oprah and Yanla, herbs, minerals. They know who they're dealing with. They know that if we do discover an imbalance in Tama, her default is going to be a natural remedy. And we are going to have to get out of her way. And she's going to have to see for herself if that remedy works before she will even consider anything else. But they knew that because I walked in and told them that. It wasn't guesswork. And the doctors who, when I told them that, did not resonate with that, I knew they were not a fit. They were not hired. They were fired. Because I pay you, whether it's through my insurance or not. You get compensated for servicing me. So you need to give me the highest level of service. That is when you know you're moving more powerfully through your healing process, because you're not afraid of the accountability. You're not afraid of building in a team of people who are fully aware of your process and where you are in it. And you're allowing them to show up for you. It is required. And it means you have to be vulnerable and you have to unveil. So again, I want you to really look at what you wrote down on that piece of paper about, what do I have to prove? What are you trying to prove by trying to do it all on your own and do it all by yourself or in your head, or the struggles you know that you go through you don't want to talk about? Sometimes it's, I want to prove that I got it all together. The truth is, some of us don't. And you will not be able to heal if you don't tell the truth. The truth that I don't have it together is okay. That doesn't mean you will never get it together. But I can tell you, you'll never get it together acting like you have it together when you don't. And 10 years have passed and you'll be in the same position, wondering, why hasn't my bank account changed? I'm working harder than I've ever worked in my life. I don't have the evidence that what I'm doing is working when I look at my bank account. Why hasn't my love life changed? I keep going through the same cycle, one lover after the next, but they keep changing. I'm the common denominator. Why haven't I been able to manifest the union I envision for myself? Because what you're doing is not working. And the thing that can be scary about accountability is when you build that team, you will have people that will tell you what you're doing is not working. But you should love yourself enough to give yourself that kind of support. Because when people love and care about you, they're going to call you to a higher level of truth. So yes, you have to become vulnerable. And it's a gift for us as women. Our blueprint, our divine nature is to receive, to be open, to be fertile, to be soft, to be moist in our energy and our way of being. And it's hard living in America, and I know we have a global audience. Um, and I, you know what, I can't even say that it's limited to America. In this age, in this modern era, it's difficult for us as women not to become hardened because there's such a strong patriarchal energy on the planet. But the age has turned. So the power of the goddess is here and calling us to the next level. We are born as women to be wild and free, to say what we mean and mean what we say, to freely express ourselves, to really go deep and create this new awareness, this new balance of masculine and feminine energy on the planet. But you got to start with you. You got to start with yourself. You got to start telling yourself the truth. You know what you eat. You know how you stress. You know how you process your emotions or sweep them under the rug. You know where you are. The next thing that needs to happen when you own the truth of where you are today is, okay, what are you ready to do about it? Once you decide what you're ready to do about it, what do you actually have the capacity to do? Because remember, the universe is not requiring that you know it all. It just says, make a powerful intention to start shifting this. Okay, I don't know. Okay, my mom and my dad weren't a good example of love or parenting. Or okay, that's not an excuse for you to recreate what they have. There are a billion people on the planet who could be good options for you to admire and model. Have you summoned that? Have you said, I can't look at them, but I know the universe will send me an example because that's important to me. That's a desire I have. I have a desire to experience healing at that depth, experience people who can fill in the gaps. Ask for it. Ask and you will receive. What keeps us from asking? We don't want to face it. And I've been there, so I really understand it. You know, I'm not there anymore. What you see is what you get on this camera. I have learned that I don't live just for me. Part of my ministry is transparency and telling the truth. even when it may not be understood or what my truth is, can come off very candid. It is my gift. And what I have discovered is that by being unveiled, people are like, oh my God, Tama is saying something just for me. I feel like she really understands. Yeah, most of this stuff I put together, and I've said it before, y'all think it's for y'all, it'd be for me. Because I'm human, I go through stuff too, you know? But I will never go through something and just leave it there. I am going to take action about whatever presents itself to me in such a way that it takes me higher. That is my covenant with myself. That is my commitment. And the first step to that is to get very clear with myself about where I am. What is the truth? What is the truth? And there are moments when you try to pretend that you're further along than you are. And that pretending is not going to get you there. There's a difference between building and holding an intention and actually being authentic with that intention. You can't fool the universe. I don't care how many times you chant that affirmation. The universe knows when you're chanting it because you're trying to hurry up and get past doing the work required to manifest it versus I'm chanting this because I am doing the work and I'm summoning it. Okay. You will not be able to start putting these manifestation principles like chanting, ritualing, and all of this stuff to work and see the harvest from it if you're doing it in a way that is veiled. If you're not being honest with yourself, if you're not being authentic, that's why you're not seeing the harvest. I don't care how many new moon rituals you do. You got to tell yourself the truth. You do have to create a space where you acknowledge I'm broke. I ain't got no money, but I am summoning it. I'm not defining my identity by that. But I'm acknowledging that when I look at my bank account, I'm not seeing what I want to see, but I know that this is not who I am. I know that wealth is my inheritance. So Spirit, what do I need to learn? What is the gap for me? Maybe I need to buy a book. Maybe I need to take some classes. Maybe I need to assess my development around how I learned about money and how to manage it. Maybe I didn't learn nothing at all. And that's why I am where I am in my life today. You don't sulk over that. You start taking decisive action and building a team and getting the resources and tools that you need to move forward. That's all. You don't have to feel like by owning the truth of where you are, that is in some way calling yourself weak. That is in some way saying or affirming something opposite to your intention. No, you cannot heal and you cannot move forward unless you are telling the truth and you are unveiled. And accountability requires your vulnerability. And one of the biggest secrets of our time is that vulnerability is one of the most powerful acts you can actually do. It takes courage to allow the things you know you've been hiding from the world to actually be seen. I'm gonna say that again. Somebody should tweet that or Facebook that and hashtag womb sauna, because these nuggets can bless you and bless other people who need to hear it. Vulnerability is one of the most powerful acts. It takes courage and strength to actually show the world what you've been hiding. That takes courage. That's not easy. That's hard as hell. It's not an easy thing to do, you know? Because I know for me, when I was at that crossroad, it was the fear of rejection, the fear of being misunderstood. So when I had to write down on my piece of paper, what is it I was trying to prove? For me, at that time in my life, I was trying to prove that I was worthy to have the platform that I had, to even be listened to. because I really did not feel worthy. So when people would actually affirm that I was powerful and saying things that was impactful in their lives, I was resistant to that for years because I couldn't see what they saw in me. They were seeing me before I saw myself. And it was hard for me to understand. I'm just being me. And lo and behold, being me was impactful for someone. And they had no idea that I had not even accepted who I was. I was hiding. So one day I had to make the decision to come out of hiding and just work with what was in my hands. When I first got started, I didn't have the technology, I didn't have the money, I didn't have the resources that I really wanted to be perfect in my unveiling moment. My unveiling has been very messy at times. That has been such a blessing to me. Because what it taught me was that the universe doesn't care how I do it. All the universe is responding to is my intention, the order that I'm placing. And the blessings did not change because I may not have followed my script for this webinar. You know, those little details. Let me tell you something. If you got to get yourself a cardboard box and a microphone and go downtown in your city and preach your message, you do that. You work what is in your hands and be a good steward of what is in front of you until you get more. Again, the promise does not come without the process. You will not be able to take shortcuts in this journey of healing yourself and transforming your life. You have to do the work. You have to pay your dues in whatever way that shows up for your soul contract. So you have to get very, very still with yourself, get very, very honest with yourself, raw, and say, where am I today? Who do I have built into my healing process to hold me accountable? Are they even aware of my plan? Whenever it's time for me to make a shift in my life, the first people who know are my team members. Even with this pregnancy I'm in right now, I'll tell you at the beginning of it, that first trimester was kicking my butt. I had a very clear vision for conception. I didn't have as clear of a vision for pregnancy. So there was some shocks because literally every week I had a brand new body I was getting to know. Still this way. I'm doing November. And so, you know, there were these emotional shifts happening with me, these hormonal shifts happening, these dietary things that I love to eat. Like my whole first trimester, I couldn't keep any greens down. Kale is for me like what Jesus is to the Christian. So that was a trauma for me. It was like, what do you mean I can't eat kale? Why am I over the toilet? You know, it was just shocking. It was some very shocking changes that came with this journey I'm on. And so when I got to my center and came up with a plan, I called my best friend. I told my husband. I was just, my support team, told my spiritual father. I said, okay, this is what I'm going through. Another shift is here, another transformation in my life. This is how I need your support. And of course, they held me down. I was not the type of person that ate every 2 to 3 hours. That's not kind of how I flow with my energy, but I knew that that was the demand that started being placed on my body by this seed I'm carrying. And every 2 to 3 hours, I would get a text from my BFF that was like, did you feed my kid yet? What did you eat? And I loved it. And we would laugh about it because she's like my sister. My life is her life and her life is mine. We are one. Okay. That is what you get to gift yourself when you make room for accountability. When you become vulnerable and you allow people to see the parts of your life and the parts of you where you don't have it all together. That's the gift you give yourself. It's called support. And so, with that being said, we have a few minutes left. I'm going to check the Q&A box. I want to take your questions. You can click that blue, excuse me, I said blue, that blue Q&A button. And you can type your feedback. If there's something I said tonight that really resonated with you, you can put that in that box. If you want to share in the conversation what you wrote down on your paper when I asked the question, what do you have to prove? I can support you and really getting free from whatever it is you think you have to prove. Because guess what? You don't have nothing to prove. You are worthy of everything you desire. You are. It's your divine birthright to be blessed, to be healthy, to be abundant. You don't have anything to prove. So if you're living your life feeling like you do, something's out of alignment. Something's out of alignment. That tells me you don't know the fullness of who you really are, how amazing you are. You just being your true, authentic self is what the world needs. Imperfections and all. Your gift to this planet. All right, so any questions about accountability? Any questions about how to really start becoming more vulnerable? Any questions about how to get your accountability team in place? Or any questions about the upcoming 6-week womb healing intensive, where accountability is one of the foundational principles of that experience? Any questions, comments? I don't see anything in the Q&A box yet. Or if you just want to say, hey, Taima, I love you, I'm here. That's cool too. That's cool too. For those of you who chimed in a little late, I said at the beginning of our hangout, welcome. These hangouts are part of our preparation for our fall 6-week womb healing intensive that is going to start in September. So right now we're in our early registration period until July 31st, and there's a financial incentive for those who register by then, and we already have ladies signing up. And so the way you find out more details about that is you go to our website, thewombsauna.com, and under our event tab, you'll see register for an upcoming event. Click on that and scroll down, and you'll see the 6-week womb healing intensive, and our entire program overview and what we'll be doing week by week is right there for you to read and take a look at. I'm so excited. I always love hanging out with you. I always love being able to have these conversations with you. It means the world to me that you are even interested in just taking time to have these dialogues. I think it's important that we support each other and have these conversations. For me, technology is giving me what I used to see amongst the women in my family. I come from a Southern family where they would sit on the porch with their rocking chairs and their pitcher of lemonade and just talk. Shout out to Google for the Hangouts. It gives us an opportunity to just literally connect and share these insights with one another. So I'm hoping that what you got from this conversation activated something in you. It's calling you into action. Because again, you are powerful beyond measure. There really are no limitations. I know it can feel like there are. It may look like that sometimes. But this universe is abundant. There really are no obstacles. When you make your mind up, you will shift. Sometimes the blessings have not manifested because you have not made your mind up. You are not clear in your decision. When you get crystal clear about something, you go into action. Start taking action. And the universe is always going to respond to both your action and inaction. So if there's a lesson that you're soul incarnated to learn in this life, and you're not taking the actions needed to master that lesson, the universe will repeatedly send the lesson. And it will continue to send that lesson even after this life. You cannot escape it. And if the universe gets a transmission back from you that says, okay, you have my attention, I'm ready to take action. Universe says, great. Let me pour out every single resource and tool and everything you need to move you forward. That is my intention for you tonight. Those of you who are viewing this, whether it's the live stream or you're viewing the recording, because I know some people reached out, wanted to know if this would be recorded. It's always recorded and uploaded on YouTube. Even if you don't know what that first step after your decision looks like, you don't have to worry about that. Just make a decision tonight. My intention is that what we've talked about in terms of accountability and being vulnerable activated something in you that says, I'm going to live more authentically. I'm going to unveil, and I'm going to tell the truth every day, every moment. I know for me, it was a moment by moment. 1 hour, I would be great. 2 hours later, it was completely different. So, I don't know what it looks like for you, but whatever that is, it's time to make the shift. It's time to get support in place. It's time to unveil so the support can manifest. You'd be surprised how blessed you are and how many people love you that you may not even know love you just by you being more authentic. All right, I see some conversation in the chat box. My girl Amanda is here. Amanda, I always love that you're here. It's so good to see you present. She wants to share that when we did the exercise about writing down what do I have to prove, what came to her mind was that I am good, that I am not going to abandon others and hurt them. And who am I trying to prove it to? Men. So interesting. That is a powerful insight. If you feel like you have to live your life proving that you are good, somewhere in your development, you were taught that there's something wrong with you. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. And so that is the thing to release. The illusion that I need to prove that I am good. Well, who said you were bad? So, Amanda, I would ask that. And it sounds like you already know because you said you're trying to prove it to men. So I don't know if that started with daddy or if it started with a particular lover in your life or what. But I salute you for sharing, honey. Let that go. What does step one look for you to begin to know, even if you don't feel it, to just decide that your truth is that you're good and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you? My way of demonstrating that in my love life when I was going through that was I stopped dressing up for men. You want to take me out? Sometimes I would be intentional about throwing on some sweatpants just to kind of see the reaction, to see like, what is this really about? Is this about my body? Is this about my beauty? Or is this about you really wanting to get to know me? Because my clothes don't define me and I can swag anything out. So for me, I really, was testing the waters to see what I could learn. I wasn't trying to test the men. I was trying to test myself to see what is it that I'm trying to prove when I, dress a certain way, when I present myself a certain way. Why do I do that? And there were moments that I would diva it up too, but that was just one way that I learned some more about myself. So think about some different ways that you've been trying to prove, and then write down maybe what you can counter that with. Thank you for sharing, love. I love that. It's awesome. Awesome insight. Awesome insight. Trying to see if we got anything else in the chat box before we wrap it up tonight. No, we have a light hangout tonight. We got a few viewers. All right, my sisters. So again, the link for our upcoming 6-week womb healing intensive. That link is on our website, thewombsauna.com. And you just go to our event tab and you'll see a drop down to register for our upcoming event. And if you have any questions, you are more than welcome to give our headquarters a call, 888-576-WOMB, WOMB, which is 9662. And you're also more than happy to email us at info@thewombsauna.com. For any of you who are going to watch the recording and you have insights or aha moments or questions from this conversation, if you post it underneath the video, I'll get a notification that lets me know of your question or your comment, and I will absolutely respond. So don't feel like just because you want a part of the live broadcast that you can't engage in this conversation. You still can, and we'll be able to interact. All right. I want to send us out with a declaration of positivity. I don't know what's going on with my words tonight. A declaration of positivity. I want to speak some blessings over your life. So just take both of your hands, place them over the center of your heart. Take a deep breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. Close your eyes if you can, if you're in a safe space where you can do that. Just be present with your breath for a moment. Breathe deeply. And as I speak these words, just receive them. I am worthy. I am love. Everything that I desire is mine to have, and I accept it. Everything that is not working for me in my life today, I release it. I release it with a smile on my face, knowing that it has served me well. And tomorrow is a fresh day, an opportunity for me to move forward. And I give myself permission to do everything I need to do to be good to myself, unapologetically. It is my divine birthright to be blessed, to be whole, to be complete. And I accept that that is who I am. And everything in my life reflects that. Everything in my life reflects that. And for that, I'm deeply grateful. Ashe. I hope you received every single word of that, and it is your truth, because you deserve it. You don't deserve it because you necessarily did anything. You deserve it because you were born to be blessed. So because you got the breath of life in you, that is your inheritance. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this hangout. I got another comment from my homegirl Amanda, celebrating. She is so turned up, and I love it. I am too. She says, I can't wait to talk more on a 6-week intensive. I've had so many shifts since the last call. She is more powerful, everybody, aware of her emotions and expressive of her truth. Ashe. I love it, Amanda. I'm celebrating all of these shifts, and I'm so glad that this is resonating with you. And so continue to be great. Continue to move forward and transform your life. Transform your life. All right, everybody, we're gonna wrap it up. It's 9:01, and I need to shut it down tonight, but I loved hanging out with you, and we will do maybe 1 or 2 more of these before our intensive in September. It just really depends on my schedule, because I do a lot of traveling, and my energy is different preparing for this seed. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But as long as you're connected to our Hangout page, our YouTube page, and our Facebook, and our email list, I mean, we're pretty much everywhere except for LinkedIn. We'll get on there soon. As long as you're connected to us, you'll see the notifications about what we have coming up. All right. So peace and blessings, everybody. Have a good night.